is that there is a singular thing. There is a repeating theme. And what is that theme? What are the themes that we have studied from the book of Isaiah up to now? So we studied about 7 or 8 prophets. What are the recurring themes? Restoration. Okay, good. Destruction. The Messiah. Okay, the Messiah. And the Messiah is bringing what? Is bringing what?
Justice.
Okay, justice. So it's also bringing justice. Other hope. Okay. Equality is bringing the new Jerusalem, the new heaven, and the new earth. Okay, so that is the recurring theme that you will find. And then also, it's very unusual that these prophets, who are prophets sent to Israel, will talk about not Israel, but they will be talking about who? They will not be talking about the Jews, but they will be talking about the non-Jews. Who are the non-Jews during their time? They call them Gentiles. Okay, so Gentiles, or they call them nation. So Israel and the other nations. So what you find is that the blessings, the hope that is being promised, and even the Messiah himself, who will be sitting as king, putting his kingdom in Jerusalem, will welcome not only the Jews, but also the Gentiles. This is very foreign. In fact, even the writings themselves, the Jews cannot understand. How come the Bible, the Old Testament, speaks about the Jews, about the non-Jews? They are not the sons of Abraham, the promised children. They are the promised offspring. They are the promised people, the chosen people. Why is the prophet speaks again and again of the ushering of the Gentiles? Because if this is not the theme of the Old Testament, who is a Jew here? Who is a son of Abraham, of Isaac, of Jacob? Nobody. We are not welcome to the salvation that is given by Jesus. If this is not prophesied or predicted in the Old Testament, that salvation, the hope, the promises is not only limited to Abraham, but to those who will put their faith on the Lord Jesus Christ, on the promises of the Messiah that is coming. So that is the only consolation for us, is that even in the Old Testament, repeated again and again, the promise that Abraham and his people or family was called not only for their blessing, but also that through the family of Abraham, all nations or all families of the earth will be blessed. So this is the context that we will always find repeated again and again in the prophets. And we talk about the recurring theme, and that is the sin, judgment, and then hope. So, the first question is, at what time did Micah, the prophet Micah, was being a prophet of Israel? What time was that? In verse 1, chapter 1 and verse 1, what is that? Who is the king during this time? Hezekiah. And you remember Hezekiah, okay? He is the person who fought against what? Against Sennacherib, against the Assyrians. And so when the Assyrians conquered Samaria, they moved forward to Jerusalem. They thought that they would also easily conquer Jerusalem. But then God intervened and they lost. They have to go back where they were conquered by the Babylonians. So the context, when you read the book of Micah, he will always refer to the Assyrians. To the Assyrians, because this is the time when the Assyrians tried to conquer Israel. So this is the context. But the most important thing when we study the book of Micah is that this is a very important book in terms of the New Testament. You remember Herod? He asked the question, where will the Messiah be born? And what did the learned men, the learned men, the scribes said? You will find that which book? In the book of Micah. So we'll try to look now. Okay, so shall we open our Bibles first? Okay, so the thing about when you see the video, the first thing that you will notice is that the Israelites are being punished because of their leaders. So what is the problem of the leaders? What is the problem of the leaders? The leaders are corrupt. The leaders are unjust. And you wonder, why would God eventually exile the Jews? Because of the corrupt leaders. So you go back to the Philippines. And then you ask the question, why is the Filipinos corrupt? Or do you believe that Filipinos are corrupt?
Yes.
Are Filipinos by culture corrupt?
Yeah.
Would you believe that? You compare the Filipinos to the Americans. Okay? You try to compare. Do you think, who is more corrupt? Filipino or Americans?
Filipino.
Okay, who went to the States?
No, not all, because there are Filipinos are not corrupt, and others also are corrupt.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we
even
talk
Americans.
about the culture of corruption. Is the culture of corruption in the U.S. the same as the culture of corruption in the Philippines? Or are Filipinos has more corrupt culture than the Americans? Is it easy for you to go to the U.S. building and then give some money at the ground? Oh, please process my paper. Here is the money. Can you give me my driver's license and give me money? So every move you make in the Philippines, you always think about bribing. Bribe. You always bribe. Whatever you do, even working. You want to go to work in an office, you bribe somebody, or you must know somebody. So your qualification in the Philippines is nothing, nada, if you do not know anybody. Because the usual question is not what you know, but whom you know. So this is the kind of culture of corruption. The question is, why did we have this culture of corruption? What do you think? Okay? Who brought those kind of culture of corruption? The government itself. The government. When the leaders and the officers of government starts to get money and they get out of it, meaning there is impunity. What do you mean by impunity? You do something with impunity. You are not what?
Punished.
You are not punished. So you can do anything with impunity, with no danger of being punished. Why is it easy for you, for example, to kill if you are a policeman? Because there is no punishment. You can kill anybody, you can rape anybody, you can steal anybody, and you are not afraid of being punished. At least most of the time. Because you know that if somebody will not push through against the police. The latest news we have is that there was a pregnant woman that was raped by 4 policemen. And then what do you know? Suddenly, while President Duterte was saying, what is this? President Duterte or General Matok, so was saying, we'll catch you, and then suddenly somebody intervened. We have no more case because the woman already back out. And then what happened? The policemen, we are innocent, therefore we will file a case against that woman. See? Yeah? Instead of now you are raped, or probably, okay, assume that now you are raped, now you are the one that is going to be brought into the court. Just because you complain. So you see the case of impunity. How can you protect yourself from the government? How will you be able to protect yourself against the government? When I was young, the most dreaded name, if you are being threatened by your parents, ayan, may police. Ayan ang police. Sige, sumbong kita. So you grow up, kanino ka takot? Police. The policeman who's supposed to protect you, kinatatakutan mo. And for not a very bad reason, because you have a lot of reasons that kung may police, baka mayari ka. Mabuti pa walang police. Kasi kung may police, ang daming problema. Wala kang kasalanan, gagawin ka ng kasalanan. At baka mamaya, mabaril ka pa dyan. That is the culture that we have. And this is exactly what we find in the story of Micah. While he is condemning, sinasabi niya, makasalanan yung mga leaders niyo, mga corrupt sila, mga aapi sila. Hindi yun ibig sabihin na yung mga leaders lang yung corrupt. They only identify the culture itself. Na pag ang leaders ay corrupt, automatic yun, lahat ay corrupt. You remember also when the life of Joshua and the life of the judges and the elders that was with Joshua. Sabi ng Joshua, the book of Joshua said, sabi niya, habang buhay si Joshua, habang buhay yung mga kasama ni Joshua, yung mga elders ng mga Joshua, anong ginawa ng mga tao? They were faithful and followed and obeyed the laws of God. Masunurin sila lahat. Malaking bagay kasi yung leader sa taas. Pero pag naging corrupt na yung leader, anong nangyayari? The corruption will trickle down. If the rule of law is to break the law, everybody is going to break the law. Ganon yung magiging sistema. Kaya ang sabi, pag pulis ka, huliin mo. Anong sabi nyo siya? Taga-BIR ako. Sabi niya, taga-custom ako. Officer ako ng gobyerno. Di ba ganon yung yung lumang culture kasi kala nila, they can drop names, they can drop their position, uurong na yung traffic enforcer. Ano ba naman yung power ng traffic enforcer? Batuta. Wala na yatang batuta ngayon, Pito na lang. Kaya makikita mo, when you watch the YouTube, di ba nabubugbog sila? Lagi na lang pinasampal, kung ano pinagagawa sa kanila, hindi sila maka-akto na to exercise their authority dahil takot sila, baka malaking isda to, may madaming kilala to, madaming koneksyon. So gano'n yung mag-influensya, kaya ang tapang-tapang nito Gano'n kagad yung iniisip mo, sino kaya yung kilala nito? Gano'n palagi. Hindi mo ba ako kilala? Hindi mo ba ako kilala? Di ba gano'n palagi yung kaya pag sinabi mo hindi mo ako kilala, medyo ka, teka, baka malaking isda to. And a lot of times, gano'n yung nangyayari. Napapagalitan pa yung mga police officer o yung mga ultimo dyan. Bakit? Alam mo namang mayor napakilala na sa'yo, governor Bakit inulit mo? Bakit kinaharap mo? Bakit pinigilan mo? Yung ganun bang sistema? As if everybody is above the law if you are in government position. So isang bagay na makikita mo talagang ayaw na ayaw ni Duterte. At least, nare-reflect dun sa pinagagawa niya. Pag nakita niya nagkamali ka, immediate yun. Basta it catches his attention, nagawa niya kaagad. Si Santi kaagad, palising kaagad. So ganun lang yung And so, pag nakita natin yung kwento, okay, bumukas na. So, pagdating natin sa kwento ni Micah, ganun. So kung kinokondemn ng Panginoon or ni Micah yung mga leaders, ibig sabihin nun, there is already the culture of corruption. Ganun yung nagiging problema nila. So, una yon yung social justice. Kaya malaking bagay sa atin bilang mga Kristiyano na patuloy tayo na magiging conscious. Pinag-usapan natin yung justice before. Anong libro yung pinag-usapan natin yung isang katutak na justice? It's most about justice, si Amos. So nakita natin na everybody may blocks na pababa paakyat. So everybody is trying to put down somebody else. Gusto nila palagi silang nakakaangat. So ganun yung sistema ng injustice. So kailangan, yun yung natin. Ang sabi nga ni Amos, ang problema ng ibang tao, problema ko. Hindi pwede na problema niya yan. Wala akong pakialam dyan. So ang social justice is pakikialam. Na makikialam tayo na maging maayos din yung iba na peperwisyo. So ganun yung tema na makikita natin sa The Prophets. Na pinipilit niya na kayong mga leaders, tulad sa atin ngayon, tayo mga Christians, dapat tayo nakakaalam ng tama, tayo yung magde-define ng tama, tayo magpupush na tama ang gagawin ng mga tao. So, pangalawa, nakikita natin yung New Jerusalem. Palaging nire-repeat siya na tema. Kailangan tatandaan natin ito. Sa lahat na pangyayari sa ating buhay, ang hope, ang final hope natin ay hindi itong buhay natin dito sa mundo. Hindi yung kamag-anak natin, yung mga anak natin. May tatlo akong anak. Nung maliliit sila, enjoy ka eh. Sabi mo, nako, magiging doktor ito, isa magiging abogado, yung isa magiging ekonomista o magiging mayaman. So, ito na yung kinabukasan ko. So, you put your hope sa mga anak mo. Paglaki nila, puro barumbado. Ang tatanda na, ikaw pa rin yung palamunin mo pa rin. So, ganun saan ngayon? Hindi nagiging hopeless ka. Ano mangyayari sa akin? Hindi ka na makaretire. Dahil pagka nag-retire ka, mukhang wala kang kakainin. So, ganun yung pag-iisip mo. So, kayo bata pa, pero kami ni Brother June,
pabalik na.
May edad na. So, medyo naiintindihan na namin kung ano yung mga risk involved if you put your hope sa maling na posisyon. So, kailangan dito palagi makita natin yung perspective ng mga prophet. Kasi sa time na to, talagang walang nangyayari sa Israel. And the Israelites doon yung Samaria has already been conquered. So, wala na sila. Now, the Assyrians and eventually the Babylonians will be knocking at the door of Jerusalem. So anong magiging pag-asa nila? What will be their hope? Their hope is the coming promised city that is not built by human hands, but was built by God Himself. So yung pinaano nila is the new Jerusalem, the new heavens and the new earth. Yun yung pinaka-ultimate na hope natin. And so, hope against hope, kahit anong mangyayari sa atin, mamatay man tayo, kahit ngayon, bubagsak na yung whatever is that. Diba? Alam nyo, may balita ngayon yata, mayroong plano, bumagsak. Sinicheck ko nga kasi may kamag-anak ako sa Bulacan. Doon pa sa mismo. Claridel ba yun? Oo. Doon yung bahay ni na Jocelyn. Who knows? Bigla na lang may bumagsak sa bahay mo, wala kang alam. Bigla na lang lumanding yung aeroplano, patay kayo lahat. 10 yata patay doon. So ganun yung you just don't know exactly what is going to happen to our lives. Tayo, dami natin mga sakit eh. Lalo na sa amin, ang sakit ng likod, sakit ng kamay, ang dami kong sakit. So, ang subulsa, hindi mo na, mas masakit yun. Wala ka, sakit na ng katawan mo, wala kang pang pera na pambili ng gamot, pero malaking bagay. So, gano'n. So, ang dami mong problema, but eventually, kailangan mailagay yung sarili mo sa tamang perspective. And that everything, sabi nga nila, everything will pass. And this will,
These two.
And these two will or shall pass. Okay? These two shall pass. These two shall pass. Ganun lang. So, ganun ang perspective dito ni Micah. And the best thing about sa writing ni Micah is when he set the stage for the Messiah to come. So ito, babasahin natin yung verse, starting from verse 2. So, dalawang version tayo, may NIV tayo sa kaliwa, kanan natin is ESV, English Standard Version. So, basahin natin yung English dito, starting from verse 2 hanggang verse 7 or 8 siguro. Pero pwede na natin ituloy. So, we'll read alternatively, lalaki muna, and then yung verse 3 is mga babae. So, shall we begin reading? But you, Bethlehem Ephrathah, though you are small among the clans of Judah, out of you will come out for me one who will be ruler over Israel, whose origins are from of old, from ancient times.
Therefore Israel will not be content till the time comes when he is away from their suppliers, and the rest of the brothers rejoice will rise.
Verse 4, he will stand and shepherd his flock in the strength of the Lord, in the majesty of the name of the Lord his God. And they will live securely, for then his greatness will reach to the ends of the earth.
And we will lead our hands when the Assyrians are and march through our fortresses, that we will raise against them 7 shepherds and even 8 lions.
Who will rule the land of Assyria with sword, the land of Nimrod with drawn sword. He will deliver us from the Assyrians when they invade our land and march across our borders.
The remnant of Jacob will be the base of many peoples, like the wave of the Lord, like showers from the grass, which like the bread and wine, and red fatty
Verse 8, the remnant of Jacob shall be among the nations, in the midst of many peoples. Like a lion among the beasts of the forest, like a young lion among the flocks of the sheep, which mauls and mangles as it goes, and no one can rescue.
Your hand will lift up of triumph over your enemies, and all your foes shall be destroyed.
In that day declares the Lord, I will destroy your horses from among you and demolish your chariots.
I will destroy the cities of your land and tear down all your strongholds.
I will destroy your strife, and you will no longer cast spells.
I will destroy your idols and your sacred stones from among you. You will no longer bow down to the work of your hands.
I will uproot from among you your Asherah poles, when I demolish your cities.
I will take vengeance in anger and wrath on the nations that have not obeyed me.
Okay. So, dito makikita natin na promise na somebody from Bethlehem. So, somebody from Bethlehem will be born. Ipapanganak. And then, ano mangyayari sa kanya? Okay? He will rule over. And he will able to conquer the enemies And the enemies na hinaharap natin ngayon, sino daw yung enemies nila? Karap nila? Assyria. Sabi nga natin, this is the time of King Hezekiah, and King Sennacherib of Assyria is in the gates, on the gates of Jerusalem. So, ang assurance is that regardless, basta ang pananampalataya natin sa Panginoon, He will protect us and He send His Messiah to overcome all our enemies. Isang bagay na makikita natin dito is that yung idolatry. So, palagi sinasabi dito na yung mga templo, yung mga idols, yung mga Asherah poles nyo, di-destroy yan lahat. And then eventually, during the time of the Messiah, wala na yan. One thing na tatandaan natin when we go to the New Testament, palagi kong sinasabi ito, but this is something that we should always take in mind, na during the Old Testament, yung kanilang curse, o yung pinaka-enemy ng Old Testament, o pinaka-kasalanan nila is what? Anong kasalanan nila? Na palagi silang kinokondem, kaya pinapadala sila sa exile, is always what? Okay? Idolatry. Yung idolatry, yun yung pinakamalaking kasalanan nila. From the very beginning hanggang sa dulo, yun yung kasalanan nila. When did idolatry, if you can remember, saan nagsimula yung mga idolatry? Sa Mount Sinai. Anong ginawa nila? They built a golden calf. So, bali ang faith nila sa Diyos ay they are some sort of, they grow up in a culture of polygamy. Na yung Diyos, may mga Diyos kahit saan. Whether you have a God of agriculture, a God of weather, you have a God of the hills, God of the mountain, God of the sea. So ganon. In fact, palagi sinasabi sa ng mga kalaban nila, huwag natin kalabanin yung mga Hudyo sa bundok. Bakit? Ang Diyos nila ay Diyos ng He is the God of the hills. You will never win Israelites against them when you fight them on the hills. Saan ba yung hill? Jerusalem, okay, is built on hill. And most of the cities na tinatayo nila is on top of the hills. And Judah itself, the whole of this Jerusalem is on top of the hill. Jerusalem, Judah. Yung Judah, Israel, at saka Samaria, puro yung hill. So, ang pag-aakala ng mga ibang kalaban nila, yung God nila, yung Yahweh, is the God of the hills, God of the mountains. So, pagka naglumalaban sila, saan sila gusto nilang kalabanin yung mga Israelites? Ha? Doon sa plains. So, ano yung pinaka-weapon, preferred weapon ng mga Philistines? Sinabi dito. Ano yung weapon sila sa verse 10? Okay, stop. Okay,
Chariots.
Ano? Ano yung sila? Okay? Horses and chariots. Saan mo ginagamit yung horses and chariots? Saan? Sa bundok? Okay? Sasakay ka ng sa bundok, hindi palagi kayong nasa bangin at palagi ka na lang bumabagsak. So you cannot use chariots and horses on the hills. So ginagamit lang yan sa plain. Tapos kaya nakakabuelo ka. Yun yung power ng chariot sa plain. Pero pag sa bundok na, wala nang kwenta yung chariot. So pero sabi ng dito, sabi niya kahit doon tayo maglalaban sa plain, sabi niya, you will lose even if you trust in your horses and chariots. Why? Because the Messiah is with the people of Israel. So, kaya tatandaan natin sa verse 2, balik tayo sa verse 2, important na verse. Okay, verse 2. Okay, shall we read this again? But you, Bethlehem Ephrathah, though you are small among the clans of Judah, out of you will come a one who will be ruler of Israel, whose origins are from the old. Okay? So, pag tinignan mo siya, ang pagkasabi dito sa Hebrew, actually, Bethlehem Ephrata, you are so small to be considered a clan of Judah. You are too small. Sabi niya, napakaliit mo para i-consider ka na clan. Okay? Na malaking pamilya. Kaya nga sabi kay David, galing siya kay Jesse, ano sa shoot? It is something na wala. Hindi naman siya tanim. Parang tumubo lang. Para lang ano tawag doon?
Boom lang.
Mushroom. Para kang mushroom. Wala namang tanim or what. Pero bigla na lang tumubo and became a great tree. So ganun yung ganun yung clan ni David. Clan ni Jesse. It is from the clan of Bethlehemite. Bethlehemite. So from Bethlehem. So Jesus was born in Bethlehem. And he was a Jew. He was from the tribe of Judah, na yung Bethlehem ay nasa tribe ng Judah. So, pag binasa mo, ang lalim ng word na ginamit, whose origin is from old, from ancient times. So, pag binasa mo to, may equivalent ito sa kay Daniel. So sa kay Daniel, ang sabi niya, okay, the Son of Man, okay, whose origins also are from the ancient of days. So pareha sila. Ito, from the Bethlehem, ang origin niya, ancient times. So noon pa, and then you have also the story of Daniel, na yung Son of Man, ang origin niya also is from the ancient of days. No wonder, nung pagdating ni Jesus, ang pakilala niya sa sarili niya is the Son of Man. Hindi siya nagpapakilala na Son of God. Ang tingin sa kanya, ang title na binibigay sa kanya ng mga disciples niya was Son of God. Pero yung title niya, kiniklaim niya sa sarili niya is the Son of Man because he is the one that was born from Bethlehem from the ancient of times or the ancient of days. So, ito palagi makikita nating tema, the Messiah. Yung Messiah sa lahat ng mga prophets. And the last one is the character of God. So, chapter 7, verse 8, chapter 7. So, pag-isang namin 7. Chapter 7. Okay. So, simula ng verse 8 hanggang 20. So, again, basahin natin alternatively.